Peace to the saints. Before we get into today's lecture topic, we're going to address a question that was sent through via Cash App. The saint writes, I just lost a good woman. How do I get her back? Well, you don't, mostly. If you're a man who's worthwhile, I promise you, she'll come back to you. But the key is, first and foremost, depending on what you did to lose this woman, you want to give her a little bit of time and space so that A, she has the opportunity to miss you, B, she has the opportunity to calm down, and then C, she can re-choose you. For the woman has to pick you when you first encounter her, and also after you screw up, she has to identify you as the one who is worth pursuing. You see, because if she thinks she can find somebody better, I guarantee you that she will. And that brings us directly to today's lecture topic, which is the idea of getting rich and getting you a woman. So, if you have any particular questions, please do send them, and I'll be happy to answer them. And then I'll talk through some general notes. We're broadcasting from the Dubai Marina. As you can see, there's a great many yachts in the area. You'll probably not see this many yachts piled together in any marina in the world. This is indeed a special place with such a high concentration of wealthy people and people who want to be wealthy people. Right now I'm just checking out some of these gorgeous Eastern European chicks who are probably gold diggers and or prostitutes. I'm just enjoying the eye candy at the moment, right? Now, first and foremost, with getting rich, it requires mentality. Most people don't want to be rich. They're not going to do what it takes. And what's worse is that we're in an era where people blame other folks for what they don't have. Like if you don't have something, you're blaming your parents because they didn't put you in a good school. Or you're blaming your girlfriend because she's toxic. Or you're blaming your brother because he won't give you a loan. It's sheer comedy. At the end of the day, whatever you have is what you got for yourself. And the true story is, I like Dubai because it shows you that so much can be accomplished. This used to be a barren desert, but the framers of this society decided that it would be a place of luxury, a place that was an attraction point for wealthy men and women all around the world. And they were able to create that out of sand and dust and nothingness. And now you come here and you see their skyline is beyond what you would see in Manhattan, beyond what you would see in Chicago. And what I really like about Dubai is, whereas they call Los Angeles the city of dreams, or the city of angels, this is really the city of dreams. This is where people come to make a buck and to make relationships with those who've already made a buck. Relationships are the beginning and ending of everything. Good Lord, oh my God. Oh Lord. I'm pretty confident that this G-string bikini I'm looking at right now is not halal. I'm pretty confident this is against the religious base of this United Arab Emirates country. But praise the Lord. Oh my God. Anyways, I like to enjoy these things. I'm not going to lie to you. And to the gentleman's point earlier about getting back this good woman, why even try? If you're wealthy, she'll probably come chasing you down because there's not a lot of young, good-looking, wealthy men. Focus on that. Hell, there's not a lot of old, good-looking, wealthy men. Focus on that. You tend to get off base and get caught up on the wrong things. That's why so few people are wealthy. You got to keep your eye on the ball. And more importantly, if you learn from a P, you got to work them hoes. And the hoe definition is quite expansive. It can be anyone around who can earn you a buck. You got to be a slave driver. Because if you want to get wealthy and the people around you don't want to get wealthy, that's fine. But can you work them until they make you wealthy? Can you inspire them? Can you push them? Do what you have to do to make them productive. Because the average person left to their own devices is worth damn near nothing. Good Lord, there's some serious work out here. Ooh, I wish you guys could be here. I really do. There are some gorgeous women. Ooh, Lord, Lord Jesus. And what I like about these women too is that a chick in Dubai, you know she's a gold digger off the rip. You don't have to guess about it. You don't have to ask her. You already know what it is. Because most people can't afford to be here. We're spending like $300 a day just on food. Not even good food, just food, period. Imagine what it costs to live. So a chick out here, man, she looking for a ball. Hey, and they got the tools to get one, I tell you that. Shout out to Terrence, he writes, I'm glad to finally catch another live. Absolutely, it's truly a pleasure. And let's talk about the bread today. Shout out to Adama, he writes, can't wait for my luxury bag to touch my hands. Oh, absolutely, I got mine out here in the place to be. Believe that. Okay, looks like we're caught up on the Cash App. So much of getting wealth involves what you really think of yourself. People are lying. They say they want to be wealthy, but they don't really. I give people opportunities all the time to collaborate, to get together on a product, to talk business, and most of the time I can tell they're not serious. People who are serious are urgent. They have a strong sense of hustle. They're going to get things done. They're going to make it happen no matter what. In the description, I mentioned Bandman Kevo, who's a scammer. Now, personally, I don't have a lot of respect for scammers among all the varieties of hustlers in the illicit economy. But, you know, they make good money. But what I really found remarkable about him is that he has a strong money focus. Even when he was talking about the time that he had to do in jail, he was talking about how much money the jail made off of him. You could tell that his true gripe was that the jail was making him work for 10 cents an hour. And he obviously is one who wants to capture the profit from his labor. You can listen to a man speak and tell what he's really focused on and what means the most to him. Most people would rather sit back and complain about what they don't have. The truth is, it's okay to not be fabulously wealthy. It's okay to not be able to afford this view or to afford a yacht or any of those things. That's okay. But what you do need to figure out is how can you be happy with where you are in life and have respect for those who are in other positions? How can you be happy at that place, not envious of other people? The problem is that today, people are envious of other people who have things they don't have. It's called jealousy. It's also called being an imbecile. And you're an imbecile because if you really deserve those things, you'd have them. You know, there's no magic going on in this world. The people who hustle are the people who get the fruits because they climb the tree to get the fruit off of the tree. Bandman Kevo is a great example for you, not of a man, not of a moral man, not of a guide, not of a teacher, but of a hustler. Of one who says, you know what, I'm not the brightest guy, I'm not the most good-looking guy, but he's clever and he's willing to take risks. No one builds a great fortune without taking risks. And the most important thing in building a fortune is being daring. And he certainly has that trait, one, obviously being a criminal, duh, but secondly, when he was locked up, he talks about how he would sneak off of the camp. You know, there's levels to jail, you know, prison, max security, medium security, camp, and all these different levels where there's certain levels of supervision that allow you to work around the penal system. And he was able to basically finesse it so that he could catch up with his female who was loyal and, you know, enjoy her physically and also leverage her for driving his profits while behind the wall. That's daring. Most men and women are too vaginal and scary to do something that takes risks so that they can live a life that others can't live. That's the problem that most people are experiencing. Shout out to Rienzi, he sends through tuition. He writes, have you read Oliver Sacks' Neurology? Haven't read it. Shout out to Muzi. He sent through a donation via marquettb.com. Truly appreciate that, Saint. And if Muzi sends through a comment, feel free to read that.
Okay.
Absolutely. And this is just beautiful living, and I like to show it to inspire you guys. I'm not going to show these females, though, because I'm trying to help you guys with semen retention. This won't help, I promise you. Oh, my Lord. My Lord, they are bad out here. It's crazy. Come on here and give these folks a little more of the view. Don't show them the pool, though. Don't show the pool. This is the Dubai Marina walk. The whole thing is I think it's 12 kilometers that was built up obviously by the municipality for the purpose of people coming here and being able to access their yacht, but also enjoy residential accommodations, luxury, and also fine dining. So there's a whole host of restaurants throughout the entirety of the walk. I woke up before the sun rose and went for a nice run. There are a great many people out there getting it in as well. You don't see a lot of obesity because generally when you go up in income, bad habits decline. Should it surprise you that there's more cigarette smoking among lower class people than there is among the wealthy? It's ironic because smoking cigarettes is A, expensive, B, unnecessary, and C, detrimental to your health. So the imbecilic plebeian is willing to do something that's expensive and unnecessary and potentially fatal, whereas the person who can actually afford it chooses not to do it because it's a bad habit. So much of what we have is a direct result of our thinking and our actions. Yet we blame everything else outside of ourselves, whether it's racism, sexism, homophobia, I grew up poor, somebody molested you, whatever the case is. I really don't care. And guess what? Nobody else cares. And the people who give you all that sympathy, they're mostly doing that, and they're crippling you. They're making you feel like it's okay to sit down where you are. Well, you might as well lay down. Because you're getting fucked. Your mentality is fucking you over. If you really want to enjoy the best of life, you need to be around people who push you. You need to allocate your time to things that actually have meaning. And you need to make sure you're bathing in this inspiration. And it's okay to reward yourself. Like things like this are rewards, but I never stop working. I never go a day without putting in some amount of work. One, because I enjoy working, and number two, I know that if we're spending at this rate, you surely got to replenish the supply. If you check my IG, you can join the Instagram at instagram.com/marquettdavon, MarquettDavon. I try to give you a peek on 1/3 of the things I'm doing, and one of the things the only thing we came out here to do is to buy some suits, to have some suits made from scratch, which I actually enjoy the process quite a bit, and so you can check that out. It's been fun. Had some shirts made, some suits made, had a jalaba made. Shout out to Jonas, who just got his 5-pack of headbands. And shout out to Anthony. He writes, grateful for this knowledge. Well, I'm grateful to be around people who appreciate knowledge because so few do. And I'm looking at these females in this pool. As lovely as they are, they'd like to spend their time enjoying leisure indefinitely. And enjoying leisure is fine, but it doesn't make a buck. And it also speaks to their actual nature, which is they're not down there with books. No, they're just down there swimming or laying out to tan. So they're completely overconsumed with the physical and overconsumed with, pleasure. And those are the things that will destroy you. In fact, it's funny because I'm looking out at the pool, there's 9 people there, they're all females. That should tell you something. Men are at work right now. These bodies are crazy. I don't know if they're natural or what. I mean, you just don't know nowadays. You just don't know. Another thing I want to point out that Bandman Kevo had spoke of in an interview, which echoes things that I'm often saying, is relationships. Without relationships, there's a limited amount that you can accomplish. I also want you to think about when you're building relationships, come in offering value. If you've read my book, The Black Box, you will have gained a lot of information about the importance of relationships and how to form relationships and also how to think about relationships, romantic, familial, business, and otherwise. There's an individual who, recently approached me about being on a podcast, and I was feeling altruistic at the moment, and so I was willing to entertain the idea, but essentially they were trying to have me schedule on their time. Now, when I'm doing favors, I schedule on my time. You have to understand, when you're asking for a favor, remember, it's a favor. So you need to go into the situation fully aware of the fact that you're getting the benefit. When you're asking for something, you need to be flexible. When someone's doing you a favor, you have to be hyper aware that they don't have to do it, especially if you're asking for a favor from someone with abundance. That's number one. Number two, I had another imbecile. I'm not saying the person who on the podcast are imbeciles. I'm not saying that. Separately, there was an imbecile who asked me to invest. Now, this individual I actually encountered in person. I don't know him. He was a fan, not a believer, not a saint, a fan. And he came and approached me with his girl. You know, I was cordial. And then he DMs me offering me a financial opportunity. I wouldn't even entertain that. You've not done any business with me. You've not supported any of my work. You've not even taken me out to dinner. You've not spent any amount of time. When I was in South Korea, when you do business with someone, you take them out to eat, you have tea with them, you build a bond, a rapport, you make sure you guys like each other, and then you make a proposal. Even when we've been buying a lot of, or having suits made in all of these fine tailors, Bridget, every time we walk into a tailor, what do they say?
Would you like coffee or tea?
Would you like coffee or tea? Every single time. Would you like coffee or tea? Can we get you some water? Can we get you something to eat? This is a tailor. If I would have asked for a whole meal, they would have had someone go out, get a meal, and bring it back. They're building the relationship. They understand the difference between customer and client. Customer, one-time sale. Client, long relationship. You have to play to win. So many people are playing to play. I'm playing to win. There are levels to everything. Yes.
Muzi, M-U-Z-I, is that the one that sent the donation?
Yeah.
Okay, he sent a question. He said, Peace to the Saints. Is it an issue if your girlfriend has a bunch of male friends? If yes, how should a man go about it? She's a great woman and we've been together 4+ years. Thanks for all the game, Saints.
I want to recommend this to Muzi as well as anyone else who's not on patreon.com/thesaintandthecenter or marquettism.com. There's a video I recently made that goes directly to your question. It's called Male Emotionalism and Irrationality, and that is almost like the follow-up to the video before that, which was about what females think of jealous guys. So I want you to watch that second part because there's so much meaningful insight about how to think like a man, how to live as a man, and also how your behavior in the the man identity impacts the women around you, how they think of you, how they engage you, how they respond to you, how they obey you. So do check that out because that's going to be an elaboration on what you really need to understand. But in short, let me say this. It depends on A, who you are, B, the kind of relationship and family you want to have with that woman. If you're a devout Muslim man, for example, it wouldn't make any sense that your female has a lot of male friends. That would be antithetical to the religion of Islam. If your female is an Orthodox Jew, it wouldn't make sense for her to have a lot of male friends. If she is in any very conservative religion, Mormonism, etc., it wouldn't make sense for her to have a lot of male friends if that's your religion and what you follow. So that's number one. So if that's what you really believe, then you need to have a conversation with her. And more likely, you might just need to get a new female because at the end of the day, you cannot change anyone. Even if a woman wants to change for you or says she's going to change for you, a tiger generally doesn't change its stripes. Not saying don't give her a chance. If you're in deep a couple years, see what can happen. But you have to have the conversation. What I advise you against is applying force. There was recently a wicked individual who claimed on one of my comments in a video about male jealousy that he says, it is Islamic for a man to be jealous. I said, oh really? Do share the surah, meaning share a chapter from the Quran that states it is a male's character to be jealous of his woman. This is a lie. The imbecile then did not provide a quotation from the Quran. He started going off topic, at which point I had to ignore him because he's not a man. Now, if you are a Muslim man, you should be with a Muslim woman. If you're with a Muslim woman, she should be a conservative woman. A conservative woman does not entertain other men. A conservative woman dresses modestly. A conservative woman is most interested in pleasing you and will ask you for guidance in what is appropriate and how she should conduct herself. You needn't force it. You needn't speak up on it too much, because surely when you're telling someone else to be someone other than who they are, they will rebel against you, whether it's overtly or covertly, which is more dangerous and more likely from the female. Now, if you're an atheist, a non-believer, if you're spiritual, if you're not a part of any of the major hyper-conservative religions, then if your female has a lot of male friends and she's not doing anything wrong, then this theoretically shouldn't bother you. But if you have suspicion that she's doing something wrong, the issue is not her having male friends now, is it? The issue is her misbehaving. So you must go to the core of the issue and solve that. But at the end of the day, I promise you, Saints, whether it's female infidelity, whether it's loss of your wealth, whether it's poverty, all of these boogeymen, all of these fears, you must let go of them. You can't live a happy life being in fear. Don't anticipate negativity. If there's something you can do to prevent it, take all measures. But otherwise, you must let things be what they are and deal with them as they come. Hey, nothing but hoes out here. This is crazy. Kay, right, just bought the bag. Any ETA since it's a pre-order, 60 days. Thank you for the support, by the way. You will enjoy the bag once you get it. Donald writes, peace to the saints. Peace to the saints.
The bags are going quick too, so even though they're pre-order, you should get one now.
That's ironic that you say that, because Jay Sanchez actually just purchased a bag. So yes, they're going extremely quickly, which lets you know that I priced them too low. Let me give you a lesson, Business 101. Anytime you produce a good and the good sells out too quickly, like the sales rate is too fast, your price is too low. You should increase the price, reduce the supply, and that will drive profits. It'll also reduce the strain on your business systems and on your customer service apparatus. So this is obviously priced too low. And shame on me. I gotta stop being nice out here. You know, at this stage in life, I'm not money driven, I'm spiritually driven. And I find that I'm often, going against the rules of gold. And you must be a good capitalist. Capitalism is not from the heart, capitalism is from the mind. And it's really a shame, because the heart led me to price this so low, because I want young men at home that were like I was, when I was young and poor, still coming up. I want you to be able to look like a professional. When you get this bag, you will look like money. My bag happens to be filled with money, but in due time. But I wanted them to have access to something fine. You see, my time here in Dubai, all I'm doing is purchasing the finest of suits, the finest fabrics. We're choosing the buttons, we're choosing the material, we're choosing the shape of the collar, we're choosing the number of buttons on the wrist, we're choosing the shape of we're getting the name stitched everywhere just for no reason, you dig? But it's about surrounding yourself in finery, and it just helps lift you up that couple extra inches. And that couple extra inches is what helps you thrive in the world. You should seek every possible advantage. And for the members, I just finished recording it today, part 1 and part 2 of this player story. And in that player story, obviously we talk about cracking some females and how that occurred, but we also talk about the things surrounding what enabled these females to be cracked so efficiently. Shout out to Jonas. He writes, paying tuition, just bought headbands and the briefcase. Shout out. And the saints who have the headband, man, those are the people I just had to meme mug. I don't like when grown men stare at me for no reason and don't wave. You stare at somebody, wave or look away. Anyways, the saints who have that headband, I want to see that covered in sweat every day, you dig? Because that 30 minutes of exercise daily, that is like prayer. Gives you some of the same benefits of prayer in terms of relaxation, in terms of feeling that spirituality, in terms of having time to think good, positive thoughts and feel uplifted. So definitely take that time out daily. And when you do anything, represent that which is core to you. And so shout, peace to the saints who are representing the assassin. And I can't wait until we're so widespread that you see our symbol and you see our standard and you see our flag everywhere. And we can recognize one another, not only by the way they speak and conduct themselves, not only by the prosperity, but also by what we're draped in. You did. So peace to the saints who support the work, who really live it out. I'm not gonna lie, I love looking at these gorgeous women, man. I really do. I guess you could call it a hobby. Some people are bird watchers. But Marina, shout out to the Lady Saints. She says, don't anticipate negativity. Amen. True indeed. I mean, so many things could go wrong at any given moment, but why hang up yourself thinking about all of those possibilities? Instead, I'd rather take out time to have big, grand visions of, accomplishment, achievement. I like to have visions of myself being immortalized in bronze statues. I like to have visions of, pulling up in rare cars where people look like, what is that? Now, those are the kind of things I like to anticipate. And I've been anticipating that since I was a kid. When I was a child, I used to visualize being in the back of a chauffeured car. And now it's come true. Yeah.
Someone just asked what the Cash App is.
Hashtag MARQUETT. You can also find it in the description. Shout out to SMD by Cash App writes, what do you do when a girl is taking time to assess? You continue being patient. That's what you do. But at the end of the day, anyone, females included, are going to treat you according to what they assign your worth and value to be. So when they perceive you to be more valuable, you can exercise more power. Believe that. Braylon writes, I need to put my passport to use. Carrying on. Oh, Braylon, I highly recommend it, and I've been very tempted to organize a trip for the saints, the ballers. You did. People who got their money straight. In fact, I got a new tailor here, and I really love how cocky he is. I was recently telling him, I was like, hey, I can leave this shirt as an example when you're creating, the version 1 for the fitting of my suit. And he said, no, don't leave it. My masters, they're better than this. The suit and the shirt, it'll be better than that one. Which is to say, his master tailor is better than the master tailor who made my last shirt and my last pair of pants. Now, mind you, Bridget can attest, these pair of pants, I've been raving over the fit for years.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So I love the confidence, and he does do good work. And they have 2 tailors take your measurements at once. And they create 2 versions, and you come in for 2 fittings. So they really do work. And, I love the process of having a suit made on so many different levels. Not only the fact that you get a fine one-of-one suit, but also the level of pampering that goes into it. And so I've been tempted to say, why don't we just have, 10 of the Saints, maybe 15, 20 of the Saints at most. We organize a Dubai trip. We all come out here, go get a couple suits made and enjoy some of the nightlife as well. But yeah, put that passport to work, Saint, all day. Shout out to Priondi, who just got himself the backpack briefcase, and he also just ordered his jump rope pre-order, and I haven't even announced that because there's so many products we have in the lab, but because I know most people don't have patience, I don't announce the pre-orders when we start producing the product. I announce the pre-orders after we've already started producing the product, you see? So the jump rope pre-order is available if you want to get your jump rope, but I didn't announce it because, did production finish on those?
Yeah, they're on the way.
Oh, they're actually being shipped already?
They are.
Okay, so they're being shipped, so this is a great time to pre-order your jump rope if you haven't already.
Do you want to tell them where they can buy that?
You can get that at marquettism.com/products. The link is in the description. And what you need to understand as a businessman, as I just said, relationships are hugely important. You see, I don't even know the details on the product, but Bridget knows the details. That's teamwork. And I'm very thankful to have competent, intelligent people around me. But I also know that as much as they are competent and intelligent, I still have to crack the whip or else they start to slow down. David comes to buy Cash App. He writes, should a man split everything 50-50 with a chick? The fuck out of here. By that I mean no. The fuck? Hell no. You don't have to split a damn thing. At the end of the day, if she wants to roll with you and you're covering expenses, what do you need to split? She works, does your bidding, and then if she wants to roll, then she can roll. Gratis. Camden comes through on Cash App. He writes, Hamish, question in the chat. Go ahead and send that question again through the chat, Camden. If someone sees Camden's question, please be saintly and repost it.
Okay, Camden said, I have a date with a 30-year-old this Saturday, no kids. Says she's never dated a man younger than her before. She called me out of nowhere asking why it took so long to holla at her.
Look, shout out. Anytime you're dealing with a chick that's older than you, you already have to know you need to stay on your A game, because women have a lot of tricks. And generally one of the reasons they like an older man is because the older man can master them, because we have a little more experience. Let me give you a short anecdote. When I was like 9 years old, I had a little cousin, female obviously. She's about 2 years younger than me, but still more crafty than I was. And this is the nature of females. This is what she would do. We both get a Squeeze-It or some kind of juice box. She would say, hey, I'll race you, see who can drink the juice faster. I say, okay, bet. She would say, 1, 2, 3, go. And then we both start drinking, and then I would finish. I was like, ha, I beat you. I finished my juice box. And then she would look at me and smirk, and she'd say, ha, 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 ha. That's why you don't have any juice, and mine is still full. And then she would proceed to drink hers slowly, as though it was something to be savored. And she'd look at me like I was a goddamn fool, having mastered me. And she was younger than I was. So females are very crafty. They manipulate even when they're not aware of manipulation sometimes. So I say that to say, P, stay on your A game. Go in there highly focused. Know your end before you begin. That's the Master Sun Tzu. And also realize that with her being older than you, she might not really want you for anything meaningful. We don't know. She might just want to get the pipe. But regardless, you need to get to that bread and make sure that she's offering you some real service, because a 30-year-old chick coming to a younger guy, she's usually up to no good. So make sure that you come out of there on top, Saint. Thank you for sharing that. Shout out to Ivan, came through on PayPal. He writes, when I put that headband on, I damn near feel like I got superpowers. The Assassin logo makes me go just a little bit harder because I represent the Saints correctly, Pete. So I can't wait to stunt with that briefcase backpack. Shout out to the Saint. He always supports the work, and I agree with him. Anytime you're wearing something that means something to you, oh, you gotta go hard. You heard me? Like, I don't ever want to see somebody in the gym with the Assassin logo on, not doing that extra pull-up. You feel me? I don't want to see you in the gym not doing that extra mile. So it's a beautiful thing when you know we represent excellence. We are the leadership class. And that's why I know that those who really follow the ism, you will be on top. Talk to me.
Was Ivan the one that shared the story? They can go see what the headband looks like on someone.
Absolutely. Ivan shared his story, and a couple other folks shared their story as well recently. And I often repost people on IG when they share their stuff. One, because I like to show love. Two, I like the Saints to be familiar with one another. Shout out to Jabriz. He came through Prosperous on Cash App. Since through $50, he writes, just showed up. Welcome to the community, Saint. SMD, he writes, what's your favorite culture in the world and why? I like different cultures for different things. As you know, I did business and lived in South Korea, and what I appreciate about that culture is that they have high levels of trust. No one pretends to be something that they're not in South Korea. If you say you are fill in the blank, you are that. You're not just saying it. And the example of that, in short, I went to a government office to get a business visa. And at that time, I did not have my diploma from Johns Hopkins. I had my transcript sealed, but they required the diploma. I didn't bring it because the diplomas from Hopkins are so big. They're big because it's primarily a medical school, and they make these big diplomas for the doctors to put on their office walls. So anyways, I get there, she says, hey, you can't get your business visa because you have a transcript and we want a diploma, the original. I call up my government contact. I was there courtesy of the government, so I had very high level contacts. I called essentially like the Minister of Commerce, and the woman answers the phone. She says in Korean, hey, how are you, Marquett? I say, I'm well, but I'm at your office and they won't give me the business visa because I don't have this document. Now, mind you, I was just there to apply, and then they mail it out. You get it several weeks later. The woman on the phone says, give her the phone. I say, give who the phone? She says, the bureaucrat you were talking to. Walk to the front of the line and hand her your phone under the glass. And so I was like, I don't know if I can just cut the line. She's like, trust me, just do it. I walk to the front of the line. I interrupt the current conversation she was having. I stick the phone under the glass. The woman takes it up. She says, I say, oh. And then I can see her expression change dramatically. And then she's like, "Ne, ne, manaso pango wayo, ne, ne, ne." And then she gets off the phone and she uses an honorific, like a very respectful title, saying like, Mr. Burton, I apologize. I didn't know who you were. Please forgive me. I will print out your business Visa card now. She puts the close sign on her booth, tells the person who was sitting there to get up and kick rocks. She leaves, comes back in 10 minutes with the actual business Visa card printed out with my photo on it and hands it to me and apologizes. Now, mind you, this was supposed to come in the mail in a couple weeks. I say that to say this. In Korea, someone's on the phone saying basically, hey, I'm the head of this whole government department for the whole country. And the woman on the other side of the phone did not think she was lying. She didn't question if it was a scam. She knew in their society, you tell the truth about who you are, your name and your word matters. So that's my favorite culture. Thank you for that question. I guess you could say it's a lot of real ones over there. I fit right in. Shout out to Anthony. He writes, steps for becoming more consistent and disciplined. Number one is you really have to want something. If you're not disciplined and consistent, you don't really want it. The thing that cracks me up is I see a lot of people trying to be life coaches and they're overweight. I'm like, you can't even manage your own body fat. How are you helping people manage their life? It's arrogant. Why don't you master some more things before you tell other people how to master things? You haven't mastered the basics of stop putting food in your goddamn mouth. Arrogance. Meaning they want to be a life coach, but they don't really want it. They don't want to go through the true discipline of getting their body together, getting their thoughts together, getting their actions aligned. If you really want something, you will be consistent and disciplined. You have to want it. Run it through your mind constantly. That's number one. Number two, be around high achievers who are operating in the sphere you want to be in. Huh? Number three, replace bad habits with good habits. And number four, look at people who are above you and then look at yourself. That disgust, that disgusting feeling, use that. Or look at this. Look at these yachts. I want you to realize that these yachts cost more than most of your family members' homes. And
that
these,
one.
all day. And this is just some of the yachts. Those yachts cost more than your home. That should get you mad. That should make you want to work. Makes me want to chuckle. Because people are bowling. You dig? You got to play psychological games with yourself. You really do. All right, man, I'm a little dehydrated. Let them look at them yachts and grab some water.
Cannon Mosley just shared the link where you can get the briefcase bag and any of the products that are out now.
Jabari just sent through tuition, truly appreciate it. You know what I like to do nowadays when I'm in Dubai, because we know all these chicks are gold diggers, I like to enjoy the chess game of them trying to get gold and me trying to preserve gold. It's fun. And the ironic thing about it is if you actually have the bread, you ain't got to spend it. You dig? You can sell them a dream. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. And granted, we have to admit, there's some women who are out here, they're just ambitious. You know, they came from underdeveloped economies like Bulgaria, Latvia, Estonia, India, Nepal, gorgeous women. And they just want a better opportunity. They want a man who's stable. They want a man who has some hustle. I can't hate that. I can't hate that at all. They playing hardball out here, you dig? You know, there are levels to things. Like, you might think you're a good basketball player and then you go play college ball and you realize you're not that good. Or you might be good at college ball, then you go play NBA ball and you realize, damn, like this game moves a lot faster. This is the big leagues out here. That's why I like being here. Like, never listen to a sucker's mentality. I remember so many times in life people say, oh, isn't that competitive or isn't that difficult? And I think, yeah, it's difficult and competitive, but I'm a competitor. Let's get it. It's just, you can't You can't let average people poison your mind. Sure, you'll have to deal with average people in life. They'll work for you. You got to keep driving them. That's why I don't like communists, because they don't make any sense. A communist would say, if a worker helps a business make $100,000, why doesn't the worker get more of the profit? Why are you only paying the worker $30,000 if they were able to create $100,000 in value? Well, they didn't create $100,000 in value. We had to give them structures. We had to give them systems. We had to put them within a company. We had to connect them with other people. We had to make them show up to work on time. We had to give them guidance. We had to give them training. All those things to extract the $100,000 of value out of that individual worker, because they couldn't extract it out of themselves, because they don't have the discipline and the self-belief to get it out of themselves. So we had to create this whole superstructure to pull it out. That's what you're here to do, saints. You're the leadership class. You pull out the greatest value and you get the greatest reward. It's a beautiful day. When I wake up early here, to make prayer, to make salah, and then, I go for a run before the sun's up. It's actually a good number of people out running, and it's no surprise, because these are the high performers. They're high performing in business. They're high performing in fitness. High performing in a lot of areas of life. They're high performing in joy, in fun. You don't think it's fun to have a yacht? For me, it just seems like a burden, because I really don't want one. But I imagine it can be fun. You dig? I'd rather have a friend who has a yacht than have a yacht. That's just me, though. You got to know who you are. I'm the guy who wants the friend who has a yacht. I don't want to pay the maintenance on it. I like to move around a lot, you dig? I like to go country to country. Maximo writes, my message is on YouTube under Maximo Rodriguez.
He wrote, Peace of the Saints, pre-ordered my running belt a couple of weeks ago, excited to get it in my hands.
Absolutely, and the running belts are actually waiting for us back in the United States, so we already have them. We will be mailing them out, and I highly advise you guys to get it, because when you're on a long run, number one, you want to have everything that you need, your phone, your AirPod case, and your keys. But also for me, when I start off early, it actually has some reflective material so that you can be seen in the darkness, which is quite nice. So, and then lastly, it's all about, representing what you're a part of. And to me, that's everything. It's the reason that when you marry a woman, she takes on your last name. It's the reason that if you're on a team, you wear a jersey. You did.
And if they order it now, they'll get it in time for the 2 for $10.
Absolutely. If you order now, you will get it in time for the 2 for $10, because once we get back to the States, we're sending them all out. They're ready to go. That's not a pre-order. I hope it doesn't say pre-order, because they're ready to go. Let's see. We got another Cash App here. Shout out to the beautiful Joe. He writes question in the chat. Okay. And the beautiful Joe is one of the emperors. And it's always nice to see the emperors, because these are men I'm familiar with. I know their name, I know their face. So it's a beautiful thing. And that's the beginning of relationship. That's the beginning of the ability to do business with someone, to have community.
Okay, I'm looking for the beautiful Joe's question. Maximo said, is the 2 for $10 a new challenge?
Yes, the 2 for $10 is going to be the running challenge. Every time we do a challenge, we stack the old one on top of the new one. So the 2 for $10 is going to be 2 miles a day for 10 days.
Okay, all I see from the beautiful Joe is he said, those are some nice yachts, never been on one. If you had a question you want to send, please send it. If not, they are some beautiful yachts.
Yeah, especially this gray one right there. That looks like
like stainless steel
one.
Looking.
Yeah, I bet that's a fast one. It's actually hard to perceive the size of these yachts because we're quite far up. Yeah, but this is an absolutely beautiful place. And when you think about what it took to make a place like Dubai, it's a desert, so there's not a lot of drinkable water. So they have a desalinization plant, which is it takes ocean water, pulls the salt out of the ocean water, purifies the water, and then runs it through people's homes so that they can have fresh, clean drinking water and water to shower. Further, some of the buildings are so tall that they actually have water running through them. I'm not even going to get into it. It's crazy.
Someone is asking about the badges. It's the second time they brought it up. I don't know if they're talking about the patches that sold out really quick.
Yeah, those sold out in like 5 minutes. Oh my
Are you ever going to do those again?
I don't think so. Nah. Lord Jesus. This is great. I want to know what country this girl I'm looking at is from. I wish my butler was here. I sent my butler over there to ask. Because that needs to be our next stop. Wherever the hell she came from, that's our next stop. Good Lord. All right, let me see what they say on PayPal and Cash App. And see, Saints, like the key to life is enjoyment. Keep it light, keep it easy. Travis writes, peace to the Saints. Question, Marquett. What is the billing cycle for memberships? As in, should I expect the payment? When should I expect the payment to be billed? So I don't know which website you're on, but if you're on patreon.com/thesaintinthecenter, they bill on the first of the month. If you're on marquettism.com, they bill when you create your membership. So if you create a membership today, it'll bill on this day each month. Thank you for your question. If you want to send through your email address so that we can check for you, just go to marquettism.com/contact or click the contact link on marquettism.com. We can answer that for you. And obviously we're traveling, we're a touch backlogged on customer service, but we are working on everything for you. Make sure we're caught up. And you know, the funny thing is a lot of these YouTubers and influencers, they're lying. They're lying and they're broke. Just look at their thumbnails over the past 4 months, and then look at my thumbnails over the past 4 months, like where I'm actually at. They don't have it like they say they have it. Trust me. If they did, they'd be on the scene like a sex machine. You dig? I'm really out here. I mean, during the pandemic, we went to Brazil on 2 separate trips. We went to Colombia on 2 separate trips. We went to Mexico City getting mariachi suits made. I mean, we went on 5 separate international trips during the pandemic in 1 year. Most people don't go on 5 international trips in a lifetime. It's sad but true. And I share it with you not to be boastful, but so that you know it can be done. So that you know you just gotta want it. Oh, it can be done.
And it was really like in 6 months because part of the year we could not go anywhere.
Right. Shout out to Rashid, who just got his Assassin running belt. And I can't wait to get the running challenge in because the running is the cardio. And women like endurance, you dig. But cardio is the true basis of fitness, I promise you. James comes through prosperous on Cash App. He writes, says through $100 by the way, so that's the record for the day. He writes, been lurking for a bit, first tuition payment, so I guess he's catching up for past time. Truly appreciate it, James. Thank you for the support, Saint. Nifani comes through, and the Saint was also at the conference, so it's a pleasure to see brothers whose face and name I know. He writes, appreciate you, big homie, glad you are well. Thank you very much. I trust you're well too, and we're better than well, you dig? We're on top of the world, baby. We're on top of the world. Good Lord, I tell you. And, you know, I always ask myself, if James Bond was a real person, I think he'd want to be me. I really do. And if James Bond was a supervillain, I guess that's who I am. You dig? Because, man, I'm really doing it. I tell you. Oh, life is good. It's nice when you can just reflect on your life and your needs and you're pleased, because that's not always the case. So when I'm happy, I dive into it. There's nothing wrong with being happy. There's nothing wrong with celebrating yourself. I mean, after all, tell me people don't detract from you for no reason. Tell me people don't causelessly hate on you. So when you have a reason to be pleased, dive in. Why not? Life is to be enjoyed. You feeling that arm workout?
Yep. I don't know if they can see the diamonds dancing the way that they are,
the
but
diamonds dancing like Michael Jackson, the diamonds in alignment. I was just about to run a mission just for the irony. You guys may know there's a such thing as canary diamonds. Canary diamonds are yellow diamonds, such as these. Canary diamonds are very rare. I forget what percentage of diamonds are canary, so I don't want to misspeak on it. But anyways, I was thinking of flying to the Canary Islands, just so that I could fly to the Canary Islands while wearing canary diamonds. I thought it would be some fun irony. And I actually booked the flight, and I just had to cancel it because some of the suits that are being made, my master tailor needs a little more time, and I don't want to rush him. You dig? You don't fly way out here to get some suits made and then rush them. Nah, let the master work. Let the master work. One of the saints just tagged me in an IG story. Looks like on the IG story, I saw someone in the chat say, Bridget, please ask him, blah, 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 blah. Bridget is not going to please ask him anything, because if we don't know you, you're not a boss level member, you're not an emperor, we don't know your name, we never done business with you, you haven't sent through tuition. Think about how selfish you are to be one of millions of people watching the stream, and you feel as though you should get your question answered when you don't value your question enough to spend $3 to ask it. Why would we value it at any amount? We don't. I really want you to know, if you don't value your question, we don't value your question. Same thing in life. If you don't think you're important, no one out in that world will think you're important. So take yourself seriously. Please don't play games on here. And moderators, I empower you. If you see a goofball in the chat, bounce them up out of here. You dig? Because at the end of the day, I don't even need to be here. I'm on here for the ambitious. I'm not on here for the wicked. Talk to me.
The beautiful Joe, his question is, he said, am I arrogant or cocky for feeling I'm out of place from people around me, or feeling I'm better than them since my focus so hard on tearing me down simply because I'm different? Since they focus so hard on tearing him down because he's different.
Well, one I can assure you of, I got a new hole in the pool, man. I'm just keeping an eye out here. I'm keeping an eye out. We got a new one. But anyways, happy people don't focus on tearing down other people. So surely those who would issue a negative word in your direction are unhappy or envious or bored, something that's not good, right? Now, should you feel superior to them? Well, in all likelihood, if you're happier, you are superior to them. But it's important to know that if you find yourself among those who are your inferior, and you're finding yourself among them for a prolonged amount of time, then you could be overrating yourself. My challenge to you and everyone, and to myself, is that if you ever find yourself among your inferiors, you should get out of there like it's a burning building. Because trust me, they will only start to attack you because their inferiority will drive them toward jealousy. So it is for your own safety that you get away from them, and it is to set things right that you get away from them and you get among birds of your feather.
A couple people have asked about your Instagram.
It is Marquett Devon, MarquettDavon. The Instagram is Marquett Devon, MarquettDavon. Dubai is a fascinating place. Obviously, it is an Arab country. The locals are primarily Muslim, but it is a unique place in as much as there are almost as many, if not more, foreigners than there are Emiratis, the local Arabs who are original to this land. And these Arabs are mostly Sunni Muslims, and with that, they are fairly conservative. And so you have, white women who are here in thong bikinis next to a Arab woman who's wearing a burkini, meaning a long sleeve bathing suit, and has her hair covered while swimming. It's quite a fascinating thing that these two beings can coexist peacefully. I want to advise you, saints, that as a man, you're a leader, and just observing these idle females, there are no men at the pool, it's all females, and they're all idle, meaning doing things that don't add up to $1. That's Marquett's definition of idle. Does it add up to $1? And the fact is that if you're going to get any value out of them, you have to work them. And beyond that, you have to know that a woman is an expense. Now you have to ask yourself, is it worth the expense? Is she a liability or is she a bill? I have a whole video called, Is Your Woman a Liability or a Bill? Oh, I'm sorry, that's foul. A bill or an asset? Is your woman a bill or an asset? Because women undoubtedly are expensive. Hair, makeup, nails, surgeries, clothes, travel, food, like all of this stuff. It gets expensive, it adds up. Now if your woman's an asset, you're making an investment. You know, you're willing to pay what you gotta pay as long as she's returning you greater value. If your woman's a bill, you're paying all this money and not getting any value back. Huh? So I want to encourage you all to be leaders and know that when you're dealing with a woman, you're potentially dealing with a major expense. Is that expense or is that money you're paying out for something that's an investment? It returns a lot more than you paid. Or is it a bill? You're just suffering. It's a liability. Always think about that. These women who are out here, these women are mostly liabilities. They're just sitting out here getting singed by the desert sun, trying to get darker to look like something other than what they really are. Or they're out here with their butt cheeks out in these thong bikinis for my viewing pleasures, which really they should only be there for the viewing pleasure of their husband, but I imagine most of these harlots are not in long-term relationships. One of them is greased up something serious, man. Oh, let me get back to these Cash Apps and PayPals. Do you think these harlots can hear me?
Possibly.
Yeah, I think they can.
You talked about them not reading and then one brought out a book.
I can read. That's funny. I love it. I would say shout out to the Saints who just followed me on IG, but my IG is blowing up right now, so I can't tell if it's new traffic or it was traffic that was already coming. But if you did follow me, shout out. I'm out here. Feel free to tag me when you got your gear, when you got your briefcase, backpacking, what have you, when you do your 2 for 10 challenge. We're about to wrap up, Saints, so if you have any last thoughts, pressing questions or comments, or you want to pay tuition, go ahead and send that. I'll give you a few minutes to do so. Another thing that's really remarkable about this town is that, what am I saying town? This is a mega city. Is that it's so quiet. It's radically safe. It's extremely quiet because despite there being all this property, there's not a lot of people who can afford to be here, so it's very sparsely populated. There's not a lot of people here. And it's so wealthy that when I was running, there were people who were there scraping the ground to scrape like chewing gum or dirt or whatever off of the ground because the municipality pays them to do that. There's that much money here. It's crazy. It just makes no damn sense. But there's very little dirt or filth because there's just not that much foot traffic. There are very few people. Like it's middle of the day right now, right? And this is theoretically like a populated place. If you look at the sidewalk, there's no one there. Now, granted, it is hot. I'll take that side too. There's pretty much no one there. Now, it is hot, but you can't have this much residential real estate. Show them the height of this building here. You can't have this much residential real estate and there's just no people around. It's quite fascinating. A lot of these people are absentee owners. You know, they purchase a couple condos. They bring their family and friends in for a couple months out of the year, and then they leave the place empty. So it's a curious place. Oh yeah, let me check the PayPal and Cash App, and then we rolling like the 60s. One of the saints comes through on PayPal. Zachary Thurman writes, thanks for the motivation. I've been working nonstop on making money and building relationships, and seeing you there reminds me on why I can't ease up. Peace to the saints. I'll talk to you in our next consultation. So that's one of the emperors. And the emperors are the guys who have a monthly membership where they get a consultation every month, or you can get a consultation at marquettism.com. And you just click the consultation button. You know, these are the folks who are generally the most ambitious. They're really trying to get after it. And we talk during these consultations to accelerate their success, be it in business and romance and personal relationships, self-improvement, what have you. But these are the guys who are really trying to get it done. And to do that, you can take quantum leaps forward when you can get good advice from people who have been there and done it. And so shout out to all my emperors. Shout out to Zach, because he's getting back on his glide. You dig? He gliding. And all you got to do is put in the work, and the key is to enjoy the work. You know, it's one thing when we had our 15 for 15 challenge, you're doing your 15 minutes of jump rope and it's drudgery. Well, it's another thing if you like me and you just talking reckless the whole time, you're enjoying the process. That's the key to life, you dig? I think we may be all caught up. All right, saints, it is truly a pleasure to have been here with you today. Let me end this the way I always end this, with the creed of assassin. Repeat after me, knowing that this is true of you. The creed of assassin. I am going to be who I truly am, because I am remarkable. And I'm going to strive every moment to show the greatest part of who I am. Peace to the saints.